Now at 9, the Kansas State Fire Marshal announces the death of another victim in a Chanute apartment fire, as well as the cause of the fire. Plus, Joplin police investigate a deadly shooting they say started with the disturbance. And the latest on efforts to preserve Ottawa County's historic Ribbon Road.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Kansas State Fire Marshal says a second person has died from last week's apartment fire in Chanute. Officials say 90-year-old Jolavon Haymaker died from severe injuries in the hospital on Saturday. Now, Haymaker is the second victim of Thursday's Cornerstone Apartments fire. The first is 22-year-old Kaylin Jones, who was found dead at the scene. 7 other residents of the building were injured but have since been released from the hospital. The fire marshal also determined the cause of the fire to be accidental, saying it started due to carelessly discarded smoking materials on a balcony. Joplin police investigate a deadly shooting they say started with a reported disturbance. It happened just before 10 this morning at Hillbilly Pumping on 1845 Pump Lane. Authorities say someone reported a disturbance. When officers arrived, they found 37-year-old Travis Wyrick of Joplin dead on the property. No arrests have been made in the case. The police say there is no threat to the public. A Joplin murder suspect today pleads not guilty. Authorities say Scott Burleson stabbed and killed Seth Langford of Carl Junction. The incident happened on March 2nd. Burleson faces charges of second-degree murder, first-degree robbery, and 2 counts of armed criminal action. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, of course, we got some rain, some showers and thunderstorms into the region for us today. These are pushing out currently, but temperature is still pretty good. 61 for a high, started at 47, close to our average of 63 degrees. And if we go outside now, we're dropping back. We're sitting into the 40s. A cold front has shifted through, so you can see our western counties now into the 30s when you still have 50s in our far eastern counties. Plus, the winds have really been picking up, so it's going to be windy tonight. We're going to have winds gusting 30, 35-ish across the region. All right, with the cold front, we've had some scattered thunderstorms. These are just kind of moderate little thunderstorms, but they have dropped some very small hail, now really extending from Cassville, Monette, Mount Vernon, up towards Stockton and heading out of the region. Big cool down, moving in. We'll talk about that here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, driving near Miami, you may have seen a part of Route 66 called Ribbon Road, but a proposal to repair that piece of the iconic highway has some people concerned. KOAM's Samantha Walker explains.
In the future, you'd drive by it and it really wouldn't stand out as anything but just a regular old road in the middle of the country, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
The historic Route 66 spans more than 2,000 miles across the country. But a 3-mile stretch in Ottawa County that is only 9 feet wide, called the Ribbon Road, is causing debates.
And we were concerned with the fact that the plan that was selected for the road involved destroying what's left and basically recreating it, putting a replica in place where this original pavement has sat for over 100 years.
While the road is officially in Ottawa County, there are multiple agencies involved in the discussions, including the Association, Miami City and Ottawa County officials, and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation.
So there's been different views on how that should be preserved. Our view as a city is to preserve it as is and keep those original pieces of the Ribbon Road. Milling them, feels like kills them.
The last proposal regarding repairs to Ribbon Road was released in February and still included the prospect of milling and relaying the road. The Oklahoma Route 66 Association released a petition online to urge officials to work on patching and preserving the road rather than replicating it.
We absolutely would like to see it repaired so that, you know, the bumps and bruises this road has over the last 100 plus years, it's earned those. It should be able to keep those.
Miami Mayor Bless Parker says the public response to the proposal about Ribbon Road has not gone unnoticed.
Because there is so much going on right now with emails, with phone calls, and a lot of people are getting these. So I think they've decided to bring everybody back to the table again to make sure we get this right.
Reporting in Ottawa County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, Miami officials say they have another meeting scheduled to discuss the future of Ribbon Road. Now, when we visited Ribbon Road today, we noticed it looked different than it did last week. As you can see, the road is now covered with dirt and gravel, and very little pavement is visible. Miami officials say they were unaware of the work being done, but hope it is dirt laid down to help preserve the road as the proposal is continued to be discussed. We reached out to an official with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation to confirm what work is being done, and we have not yet received a response. We also reached out to the District 3 Commissioner who is handling the proposal. His office told us he was unavailable all week. Well, today, the Arvest Foundation granted $25,000 to the new community ride system in Southwest Missouri. The Economic Security Corporation began CARS, or Community Action Ride System, in response to the loss of the trolley system in the area. The program will serve Barton, Jasper, Newton, and McDonald counties in Missouri. Volunteer drivers are encouraged to participate.
You know, there's a ton of organizations in the Joplin area and Newton County and in all these areas. There's a ton of organizations. We really like to find those organizations that are reaching far, right? So the ones that are making a difference, like we heard Kavanaugh say, in all of the counties she listed. You know, this is one of those that's going to touch a lot of lives and provide access to a service that we've been without now for a year and a half.
The program is set to launch in May, but the community is invited out to a free event on April 13th revolving around this new program. For more information, including signing up for the service or volunteering to drive, you can head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. 1 in 7 people face hunger in the Ozarks, and that's why the Ozarks Food Harvest is thankful for an annual special Easter time donation today. Opal Foods out of Neosho donated more than 200,000 eggs to the charity. Fresh eggs are one of the most requested items from the food bank because they have high protein content, nutrition, and versatility. Ozarks Food Harvest says it's difficult to get protein-dense foods, and this donation will be a huge help.
Storing is not the issue, and distributing is really not the issue. A lot of these eggs will be out by the end of this week, before Good Friday even. So it takes a lot of food to feed a third of the state, which is what Ozarks Food Harvest does. We're thrilled for this, and they're going to be on tables by the end of this week.
Opal Foods has been making this donation since 2008. You might see a lot more skateboards at Missouri Southern. The university today hosted a first drop-in to celebrate the new on-campus skate ramp. MSSU alumnus Nathan Bemo founded the American Ramp Company and wanted to give back to his alma mater, so his company built the ramp.
Great fit for him to support the university as part of our campaign to donate a skate ramp, and it is a tremendous addition to the campus, adds a lot of life to the campus, and we're just so appreciative.
The ramp is located by McCormick Residence Hall. Coming up, uterine cancer is now the deadliest reproductive disease women are facing. We look at who may be most at risk. A new study probes the potential link between type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's disease. Researchers at Texas A&M University studied mice and found inflammation in the gut related to diabetes may pass through the liver and onto the brain. The researchers say controlling diabetes and eating a healthy diet may reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's. Researchers say good bacteria in your gut may dramatically cut risk from infections. A study found up to a 25% lower risk of hospitalization from any infection for every 10% increase in butyrate producing bacteria. And that research was shared at the European Congress of Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases. But they say more research needs to be done before bacteria can be used as a treatment. Well, cancer continues to directly and indirectly impact millions of lives across the country. But while some forms of the disease, like breast cancer, have been seeing declines in deaths, health data finds cases and mortality rates for another type of cancer are on the rise. Fox News' Ted Linder takes a closer look at who may be most at risk.
Recent data from the American Cancer Society reports uterine cancer is now the deadliest reproductive disease among women.
Uterine cancer, endometrial cancer, is the most frequently diagnosed gynecologic cancer in the United States. It's one of the few cancers that we've actually been seeing an increase in each year of the number of patients that are diagnosed, but also, very importantly, the number of women are actually dying from the disease.
But doctors warn of serious health disparities, citing how uterine cancer is more common in black women than white women, with black women more likely to die from it.
There are more high-risk endometrial cancers and less high-risk endometrial cancers, and unfortunately, especially for black women, many of the more aggressive endometrial cancers are seen in women that are black.
And while obesity is one of the major risk factors driving up cases,
other things like anovulation or polycystic ovarian syndrome, where the ovaries aren't having a normal cycle every month, can also be a risk factor. There's also genetic contributions to endometrial cancer, with somewhere around 3 to 5% of endometrial cancers likely being explained by hereditary or genetic reasons. High blood pressure and diabetes are also risk factors.
Early detection and action is key to saving lives, with medical experts pointing to breakthroughs in immunotherapy treatments.
Immune therapy is a different way to fight the cancer. Traditional chemotherapies kind of knock down the cancer cells and make it so that they can't continue growing. But immunotherapy actually has a patient's own immune system start attacking the cancer.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Labette County High School hosts its softball home opener against Columbus following a hot start on the road.
Well, of course, still a decently mild day for us today. Still a couple notches below where we should be, but we had showers, even a few thunderstorms across the region. About 1/4 of an inch of rain today since midnight, 1.71 for the month, but we are behind. We have a deficit of 1 1/4. This is kind of our rainy season. March, April, May, and June, so we need to pick up on the rain when we can definitely get it. Here's a nice shot. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex downtown. We're looking at 7th and Joplin Street, looking northeast. You can really see the wind is moving behind this cold front. With the front, we've had some showers and thunderstorms that have kind of blossomed over the past couple hours. Nothing too strong or severe, but there was some small hail in some of these storms. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So east of Stockton now, heading into the west side of Springfield, down toward Mount Vernon, Monette, Cassville. Also another little guy down through Bentonville all the way down to Fayetteville. But again, these are pushing out of the region. We look pretty good from this point on. Look at the colder air behind it. All snow out across central and western parts of Kansas. Several inches of snow once you got out into western Kansas. Here's the colder air. Look at Wichita, 31, 39, Oak City, 32, Sioux Falls. We have Dodge City sitting at 27 degrees. So those colder temperatures working in, and the winds have been picking up. These are sustained 15 to 20 miles per hour. And then over the past couple hours, we've been getting those winds gusting anywhere from 25 upwards of 31, just recently a 31 gust in Carl Junction. So we are going to have those winds breezy tonight, gusting 20 to 30 all night long, calming down a bit as we get into tomorrow afternoon. But with the temperatures dropping and the winds moving, look at this. We're going to have wind chill factors by morning. It's actually going to feel about 20 degrees. Let me walk you through time over the next couple hours. We'll have a little bit of clearing. Clouds kind of filter back in. We'll drop back near freezing tonight. Mostly cloudy skies tomorrow morning. A little bit of sun during the afternoon. High temps only 46, 47, 48 degrees. Quite a bit colder. The winds continue to diminish tomorrow night. We get a frost. We drop back hard freeze, 28, 27 degrees. And then on Wednesday, we get clouds back in here a little bit better. We get into the mid 50s, but we could get a random sprinkle or two rotating by Wednesday night. And then after that, we'll start to warm things back up. All right, 34 in the morning, by noon, 39, 47 for a high, a lot of clouds all day long for us. Tomorrow, again, Wednesday, back to 55 degrees. We go to 64 on Thursday, 74 on Friday. So temperatures get very spring-like as we head into the holiday weekend. We do have to watch for some showers and thunderstorms on Easter Sunday into Monday. On Monday, some of those could be strong to severe. So that's kind of our next shot to get some bigger storms. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But overall, Easter Sunday is looking good.
I know there'll be a lot of Easter egg hunts this weekend. Any idea yet if they're early or late showers?
It looks like late.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we'll see.
So we get in that Easter egg hunt after church.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Missouri Department of Conservation wants to remind people to leave wild baby animals alone, even those little bunnies. Chances are, if you encounter a wild baby animal in its natural setting, the parent is not too far away. And while the inclination is to do a good deed, experts say interacting with the baby animal is one of the worst things people can do.
But the bigger thing to remember is those regulations are based on biology, and that biology is basically meant that animal parents are meant to care for animal young. Humans can't do it as well as animals can, and when they do intervene, they usually, even though their intentions are good, they usually just mess it up.
The department is also warning people outside to be aware of ticks and to take steps to protect yourself. Coming up, as shoplifting becomes more of a problem in New York City, we'll learn how the reselling of those goods is creating a shadow economy. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun says he plans to step down by the end of the year. The company's chairman and the head of the commercial airplane unit are also leaving. Boeing has been hit by more than 5 years of problems with its airplanes, including 2 fatal crashes of the 737 MAX in 2018 and 2019 that killed hundreds of people. Most recently, a door plug blew out of the side of an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX in January, leaving a gaping hole in the side of the plane. Costco is keeping a closer watch on its $1.50 hot dogs, drinks, and pizza slices. A Reddit photo from a Costco in Orlando, Florida shows a sign that says people without an active Costco membership card will not be allowed to buy items from the food court. This rule was actually always in place, but analysts say it was never really enforced. However, the membership card rule officially becomes effective April 8th. Shoplifting is now costing businesses billions of dollars in New York. Thieves are now stealing items and then reselling them online. Fox Business correspondent Madison Allworth is in New York City with more.
The shoplifting epidemic has gotten so bad for businesses and so lucrative for shoplifters that a shadow resale economy has been able to flourish. The owner of Gristedes telling Fox Business that items like these are stolen and then resold for a major profit. To try to prevent this, the store has now implemented a new tracking system. Items like ice cream are given a specific code. That way, if they're resold locally, Gristedes knows. John Katzmas-Tede says that shoplifting of ice cream has gone down 90% in 2 weeks since implementing this new system.
What happens is, Haagen-Dazs is liquid assets. You got to sell it within 3 blocks of the store, otherwise it melts.
But ice cream, a very small piece of the pie. In Suffolk County, a raid of an illegal pawn shop recovered hundreds of stolen goods. Everything from kitchen goods to luxury items were intended to be sold online in a shadow retail economy. Organized shoplifting rings use sites like eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and even Etsy to resell these goods.
We have taken a position where we defend our stores. All the big corporate stores around the country, they fire their employees that defend their stores. I mean, I can't understand it.
In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Up next, why the National Park Service is cutting down a beloved cherry tree and why it might not be the end of Stumpy. The sun is setting on a beloved cherry blossom tree that's become a social media phenom. Crowds have been flocking to Washington, D.C. to see the misshapen tree, nicknamed Stumpy, before it's cut down later this spring, along with more than 100 other cherry trees. The National Park Service says it's part of a 3-year project to rebuild the seawalls around the tidal basin, which are crumbling due to daily flooding.
It sounded like just a cool, interesting tree and something that I wanted to come see before he gets removed for the restoration project.
Once we're finished, once the seawall's high enough and the water stays in the tidal basin, we look forward to having an environment where the trees can grow without those threats to their long-term well-being.
Officials say cuttings from Stumpy will be used to develop genetic matches that will be replanted when the repair project is complete. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. We'll hear from Jasper County election officials about Election Day rules regarding electioneering. Plus, former President Donald Trump gets good news and bad news in a pair of cases against him.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Ahead of Missouri's municipal elections next week, the Jasper County Clerk wanted to remind voters to avoid electioneering. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
According to Missouri state statute, electioneering is not allowed within 25 feet of polling sites, meaning no clothing, buttons, or signs that promote a political candidate or stance.
We actually do have a list of all these polling locations, whether they allow signs on their property or not. If they don't, then that means no signs, no handing out literature, no getting signatures for initiative petitions on their property at all.
If you happen to be wearing a shirt that breaks electioneering rules, poll workers will ask you to change or turn the shirt inside out. Jasper County Clerk Charlie Davis says these rules don't just apply on what's on that day's ballot.
But one of the other things that people don't think about is electioneering might not be just for this election. This is an April municipal election, so if there are people that are coming up on the ballot in August or November, that covers those as well.
Davis says the goal is to make voting more pleasant.
To barrage them with a bunch of signs and literature while you're standing in line to vote kind of gets a little bit frustrating.
Reporting in Jasper County, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Missouri's municipal election date is April 2nd. There are items on the ballot in all southwest Missouri counties. There's also an election in Oklahoma on that day. Well, the 4 men accused in Friday's deadly terror attack in Russia were taken to court over the weekend, appearing badly bruised and battered. Russia says 3 have admitted their guilt. The terror group ISIS also released video they claim shows the start of the assault, which killed more than 130 people. It's the deadliest terror attack in Russia in nearly 20 years. Well, good news and bad news for Donald Trump and his legal team today. One court lowered the amount the former president must pay for his business fraud charges, but another is pushing forward with his first criminal trial, scheduled to begin next month. And as Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor report, it's one of several cases Trump could serve jail time for if convicted.
This is election interference, that's all it is.
Monday, a New York judge decided at least one of the criminal cases against Donald Trump will go to trial before November's presidential election. This one related to alleged hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 campaign.
I don't know how you can have a trial that's going on right in the middle of an election. Not fair. If I wasn't running, they wouldn't be happening.
But the former president did secure one victory Monday. An appeals court judge lowered the bond Trump must pay in the civil fraud case against his businesses. He owed $464 million by midnight, but now he has 10 days to pay $175 million.
We'll put up cash or bond very quickly, securities, cash or bond, whatever it is.
This prevents New York's Attorney General from seizing Trump's properties while he's appealing. The AG's office brushed off claims the fine was excessive and says, quote, the $464 million judgment plus interest against Donald Trump and the other defendants still stands. But the former president says he'll take the case to the Supreme Court if necessary.
It just has seemed like this court has been pressing so hard without the due process, without the constitutional rights like the Eighth Amendment right against, excessive fines. All those things just don't seem to apply to Donald Trump.
Jury selection for Trump's hush money trial will begin on April 15th. It's the first of 4 criminal trials scheduled against the former president. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A bit later, we'll dive into an age-old debate, whether you should wear your outside shoes while inside a home.
Well, of course, for us today, we had some showers. We had some thunderstorms out there. Rain really picked up last night, kind of drove through the region, and then we dried out a bit today, and then the cold front started to roll through during the evening hours, and it did fire up A little line of thunderstorms. Had some very small hail. These are racing off toward the east. Pretty good shot of a rainbow right behind it. I had several people send me in some pretty cool shots. But you can see these storms now working out of our eastern counties. So in fact, really from just east, Stockton Lake over towards Springfield, and then now out of Mount Vernon, Monette. We still have one little guy just to the west of Eagle Rock at Table Rock Lake, and then near Beaver Lake. Besides that, we are looking better. Look at the snow on the backside, the colder side of the storm. And in the pattern, if you remember back 2 cycles ago, right before Christmas, we had all that rain, and this is the same system returning in the pattern. But we are going to cool down quite a bit behind this as we go through the next couple days. Look at the colder air working in. Oklahoma City's at 39, 31 in Wichita. We're down to 47 in Joplin, 27 Dodge City. Rapid City is sitting at 15 degrees, and also with the front, the winds are really picking up. Check this out. We have westerly winds, 15 to 20, and then gusts have been tapping into that 30 to 35 mile per hour range. We're going to stay in the range of 20 to 30 for wind gusts tonight, and then the winds will start to slowly decrease for us tomorrow, but it's still going to be a breezy day. All right, also with the wind and the temperatures cooling down, look at our wind chill factors by morning. Just about everybody's going to feel about 20 degrees across the region, which is a cold start. All right, snow skirts just to our north. A lot of clouds into the morning hours. We start near freezing. As we get into the noon hour, about 40. But look at our highs. Only about 46, 47, Anderson 50 at Grand Lake, 46 in Chanute. Nevada only up to 43 for us tomorrow. The winds diminish tomorrow night. We drop into the upper 20s. We'll get a frost, so pretty hard freeze. And then on Wednesday, we go back into the mid 50s, but we could see a few random little showers trying to skirt mainly our southern counties Wednesday night into Thursday morning. All right, here's your day planner for you Tuesday. 39 at noon, 47 for a high. A lot of clouds. It does get better. Check this out. By Thursday, we're back into the 60s. We bounce into the 70s by the time Friday rolls around. We're going to be into the 70s as well on Saturday. We do have a front that's going to slide in, so we have to watch this for a few scattered showers once we get into Easter Sunday, and then a little bit better chances next Monday into Tuesday. 47 for you Tuesday, 55 Wednesday, 64 on Thursday, 74 on Friday. We hang into the 70s through the holiday weekend, but we're going to be dodging those showers and thunderstorms as well.
Hopefully we can get in all the Easter egg hunts before any rain.
That would be a good plan.
If we get it, because we always need the rain.
We do?
Yeah, and we don't want snow at this time.
No.
Sorry, Western Kansas. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, the Biden administration is spending $6 billion to slash planet warming pollution from heavy industries, including cement, steel, and aluminum. The funding will go to more than 30 factories around the country who are taking steps to cut about 14 million metric tons of carbon dioxide annually. That equates to taking about 3.3 million cars off the road in a year. Well, coming up in sports, the NFL implements a new rule to emphasize player safety. Plus, Labette County and Columbus softball put their undefeated records on the line. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Labette County softball is off to a red-hot start to its 2024 season. After the first week of games, Lady Grizzlies are 2-0, 14-run victories happening in each of those first 2 games, both of which were on the road. Columbus and Labette County softball, both off to 2-0 starts. Labette with its home opener today. Bottom of the second, Caitlin Simpson hammers this pitch to left center. That's gone for a 2-run homer. And the Titans are up 3-1. Now, Gracie Major, the starting pitcher for Columbus, she's in a groove early, gets a strikeout to keep it a 2-run game in the third. But in the fourth is where Labette comes to life. 2 runners on. Keely Good smacks this into left field. Bases are now loaded. That sets up Kaiten O'Brien, who hits it hard up the middle into center. 1 run scores. The tying run scores as well while the throw home gets away, and great base running by the Lady Grizzlies. Good comes all the way around from first and slides in safely. Labette County shuts the door on Columbus from that point on. The Lady Grizzlies win 7-4. They improved to 3-0. Well, we're 2/3 of the way through the 2023-24 season in the MIAA. Pittsburgh State, Missouri Southern, all the rest of the conference member schools have completed the fall and winter sports seasons. Now, the MIAA announced today its updated standings for the 2023-24 Commissioner's Cup. Now, this award is given to the school who performs the best across the board in conference play for every sport. Pittsburgh State is in first place entering the spring sports season. Now, that means the Gorillas have been the overall top performing athletic department in the MIAA to this point, and the award gets given out at the end of all spring sports. Over to the Division I NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament. Round of 32 concludes today. Oklahoma Women's Hoops falls to Indiana 75-68, ending the Sooners season. OU finishes the year with a 23-10 record. The Sooners were also Big 12 Conference regular season champions. Meanwhile, Kansas women's basketball also plays in the round of 32 tonight. Very late start. The Jayhawks just finished the first quarter against USC in Los Angeles. They trail the top-seeded Trojans 20-9, actually. And KU will need a big comeback if it wants to advance to the Sweet 16 to face Baylor. Well, the NFL Owners and Competition Committee meets today and approves a proposal that all but ensures, yes, more penalties in 2024. According to the NFL Network, the league unanimously decides to ban what's known as the swivel hip drop tackle. This means players will receive a 15-yard penalty if they grab the ball carrier with both hands and, quote, unweight themselves by swiveling and dropping their hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knees. Now, the NFL Competition Committee Chairman Rich McKay says the swivel technique doesn't get used very often, but when it does, causes a lot of injuries to the runner. And NFL Executive Vice President Troy Vincent said last week that this play is likely to be enforced similar to the helmet tackling rule, which of course not only results in that 15-yard penalty, but also warning letters and fines to offenders. So I'm sure there will be some frustrations coming around with this. People saying, yeah, there's just going to be more flags. It's hard to tackle in today's game. But the ultimate goal is keeping players safe, keeping players from having season-ending injuries, which we've seen on those type of plays.
So the bad part of it isn't locking your hands around them.
Yeah.
It's bringing your legs around and landing on top of their legs.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
that could cause some serious injuries.
It has, yeah.
Yeah, dangerous. All right, thanks, John. We'll back with more news after this. It's a long-running debate whether you should wear your outside shoes inside the house. Fox's Teresa Priolo reports.
I just feel like shoes are filthy, and I don't want them inside my house.
It's a fairly polarizing topic, especially if you're on the other side of it.
Germs.
Dirty.
Yeah.
The decision to forego shoes. Many people and cultures believe shoes should never be worn inside.
I was raised by my grandmother. Definitely had to take your shoes off at the front door.
But as it turns out, we've never really gotten the full story. We shouldn't wear our outside shoes inside the house. That doesn't mean we should all be barefoot.
Indoors where you have, very hard floors and most people don't have, anything padded or cushioned, it can take a toll on your feet.
Especially for all those who have been working from home since the pandemic, spending their days shoeless but wondering why their bodies ache. According to Dr. Sutera, the foot is the foundation of the body. It aligns the ankles all the way up the spine. Wearing a shoe with proper cushion is essential to maintaining a healthy back and joints, not to mention the fat pads that fade on your feet as we get older. Instead, she says, wear slippers or sandals inside.
You want to have something that cradles your foot, that has a nice contour, that has an arch support. So you should look for even a slipper that has these types of features.
So yes, you should go out and buy house slippers. Shoes that never go outside, not to take out the trash or to get the mail. They do not cross the threshold.
I don't go without shoes. You might get splinters in your foot, might step on anything, so it's not healthy.
We do wear slippers inside of the house.
I actually never thought about that.
Would it make you change your mind as to whether or not you wear your shoes inside the house?
Oh, definitely not.
Who knows if it'll make your knees stronger? We do know it'll keep your floors cleaner.
Gotta have something on your feet. Well, coming up, we'll check out the newest movie and music releases for you to enjoy at home. A sports drama, a biblical comedy, and a 32-time Grammy winner are among the new digital DVD and music releases available to add to your home library. Fox's Kristen Goodwin runs down the list of what's new in home entertainment.
Topping this week's list of what's new in home entertainment, the biographical sports drama The Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, chronicles the rise and fall of the legendary Von Erich family's 1980s wrestling empire.
I'm Clarence. Where I'm from, you fight to survive.
Lakeith Stanfield leads the biblical comedy drama The Book of Clarence, about a down-on-his-luck street hustler who is inspired by Jesus Christ's popularity to carve out his own path to a divine life.
Dr. Freud.
The historical drama Freud's Last Session, starring Anthony Hopkins and Matthew Goode, is based on the true story of the meeting between famed neurologist Sigmund Freud and author C.S. Lewis, debating the existence of God shortly before Freud's death.
The new adventures of Ed and Dex starts now!
Good Burger 2 is the sequel to the 1997 comedy featuring Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell reuniting for a new adventure as the fast food duo Dexter and Ed.
I judge your shoulders, arms, chest, and legs.
Breaking Olympia, the Phil Heath story, chronicles the celebrated bodybuilder's battle back from injuries in his quest to win a record-tying 8th Mr. Olympia crown.
Finally, you will be among peers who understand you.
Small screen favorites to own, Season 1 of the hit Netflix series Wednesday, starring Jenna Ortega, and the History Channel's docuseries Ancient Empires explores the lives of Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and Cleopatra.
That's why I hate my alarm clock.
For music fans, Grammy winner and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Sheryl Crow releases her new album Evolution. And Beyoncé drops her latest album, Act 2, Cowboy Carter.
16 carriages.
In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a tiger cub playing with a feather. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.